Ladies and gentlemen, weebs and waifus, welcome to RealKyoWRLD here on YouTube. And this video will not be like a usual RealKyoWRLD video. This video will be more somber in tone, because if you are unaware, the anime world lost an absolute titan in the industry. Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball, aged 68, passed away on March 1st and was announced a week later on March 8th by his studio. And seeing as this channel would probably not exist if not for the contributions Mr. Toriyama made to the anime world, it only feels right that I discuss with you all the impact Mr. Toriyama has had on me myself. I mean, even as I sit here recording this video, I'm staring at a replica of the 4-star Dragon Ball from the Dragon Ball series. And if you're familiar with the anime, you know the significance of the 4-star Dragon Ball. So this wasn't the video that I had originally planned for this week. However, I would be remiss if I did not make a video addressing Mr. Toriyama and discussing with you the enormous impact that this man had on my life. Now, growing up, I can tell you that my initial introduction to anime was, without a doubt, Dragon Ball Z. I also think that it's safe to say, and a lot of people can relate with that sentiment, especially for millennials and those that are older, DBZ was really our gateway into the world of anime. I remember vividly going over my grandmother's house as a child, and all my cousins would be there. And I remember them putting on this show about these aliens who came to Earth and had tails and cool spiky hair and were warriors. And me being a young, wide-eyed kid, I was fascinated and captivated. And that was all I knew at the time. Little did I know the impact this show would later have on me. It had such a profound impact on me to the point that I am here now recording a video for my YouTube channel discussing anime with all of you. And I have DBZ and Akira Toriyama to thank for that, because it was because of DBZ that I sought out other shows like it, because we had nothing like this in the States, and it was new and fresh to me. And as I sit here making this video, I come to the realization of how crazy it is that someone who I've never met and would probably never have the chance to meet had such a profound impact on me through their art and their storytelling. Mr. Toriyama, you provided entire generations with fascinating stories and fights that will be talked about for many years to come. And that's where the story should end, right? Akira Toriyama passes away. He's recognized for the cultural impact that he had in the East and in the West. However, that sadly is not the case, because in today's age of cancel culture, which I absolutely despise, by the way, we always have to try to nitpick at a person's legacy and refuse to let them rest in peace. We have to scour the internet to try to find something to cancel this man who is already gone. Now, naturally, like everyone else in the anime community, it took me a few days to really process and gather my thoughts around the subject of Akira Toriyama's passing. And in the days following his passing, I saw on social media how people were posting images of one character in particular from Dragon Ball known as Mr. Popo. Now, just by looking at the character design for Mr. Popo, I myself, as a black man, see the similarities between Mr. Popo and the blackface stereotypes that were exaggerated back in the day in old cartoons. People could not wait to say things like, "Y'all are really sad over Akira Toriyama's death," when he had racist characters like Mr. Popo. And to those people, I would say this. First of all, I would say that if you spent the time and energy you took to bash a dead man on your social media and applied that to your own life, I am 100% positive you would live a much more fulfilling life. Second of all, I would say that context is king. And I would say that even if Mr. Popo was a racist character, which he is not, and I will explain why later, you have to apply context, correct? Mr. Popo made his debut in 1988. Dragon Ball debuted in 1986. That is older than a lot of you who are going to watch this video. The blackface portrayal persisted in the manga and animation industries of both Asia and Japan long after it became taboo in North America after the civil rights movement of the 60s. Japan and Asia are vastly more conservative countries than the US, which adds even more context. The more conservative a country is, the longer it is for them to catch up with a Western idea of things. And third of all, I would say to these people that I do not know Akira Toriyama on a personal level. I'm not going to try to sit here and pretend like I have any sort of insight into what this man was thinking at the time. But I will say that if people would take the time to actually do some research, they would realize that Mr. Popo isn't modeled to be a black person. Hell, he's not even supposed to have a race. Mr. Popo is a deity that was modeled after Mahakala, who is a Hindu and Buddhist deity who was the god of time, creation, destruction, and power. Which is why in the show, in the manga and anime, Mr. Popo operates the hyperbolic time chamber. Hell, even if you look at the character design for Mr. Popo, he's always seen wearing Indian garb. I say all this to say that I don't personally believe that Mr. Toriyama was trying to offend black people when he created Mr. Popo. And I say all this to say that I truly wish we lived in a society where a person passes away and can be recognized for all the good that they did without people attempting to drag their name through the mud. If you look around the landscape of the anime community, I think you would be hard-pressed to find any manga artist who wasn't influenced by Mr. Toriyama at some point in time, or is at least familiar with his work. All I ask is that we let Akira Toriyama rest in peace. And I would personally like to tell Mr. Toriyama, thank you for all the memories that you gave to me and my friends and my family. I know King Yemma showed you favor. Arigato.